They say love is the answer, that if you love deeply, give selflessly, and remain tender-hearted, the world will shield you, respect you, and reciprocate. But Machiavelli viewed love not as a gift, but as a vulnerability, an open door, a weakness ripe for exploitation. A man who relies on love risks being undone by it. A man who inspires fear endures, not because love is inherently flawed, but because it blinds, and the world is not where love begins. Strategy is where it ends. You cherish your family, your mates, your partner. You share everything with them, forgive swiftly, and excuse their actions, even when they wound you. Why? Because love strips away your guard. You stop strategizing, stop safeguarding your position. You assume, if I'd never hurt them. The real danger lies not in enemies, but in familiarity. Your enemies fear your silence, but those you love grow accustomed to your gentleness, your accessibility, your compliance. Over time. And for a man of influence, that's the most exploitable position of all. Let's be clear, being cold-blooded isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's recognizing how people change when they're too close. Understanding what you surrender when you're overly transparent, and seeing what love becomes when unchecked, entitlement. Machiavelli grasped what most miss: those who love you unconditionally can still hurt you unintentionally, while those who stay near for what you offer will hurt you deliberately. The answer isn't to stop loving, but to stop leading with love. When you lead with emotion, you lose leverage. Ever wonder why your family dismisses your advice? Why your mates stop listening once they've got what they wanted? Why your partner doesn't fear losing you? Because they know your love trumps your logic. They know you'll apologize first, return first, explain, defend your feelings, and never enforce consequences. That makes you predictable, soft, safe. As Machiavelli warned, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. With those closest to you, inspiring fear feels wrong, so you opt out of the game, and they start winning it. The cost of staying warm: you lower your standards. Tolerate behavior you'd condemn in strangers, forgive without change, stay silent to keep the peace. But the peace you're keeping is merely others' comfort with your weakness. And when someone is comfortable with your weakness, they'll test it, prod it, exploit it. You don't need to stop loving, you need to love with boundaries so sharp they cut. Let them feel your warmth, but always with a wall behind it. Because when love becomes unconditional, so does your pain. Strangers don't break you, it's always those you let closest. Machiavelli wasn't paranoid, he was precise. He knew those who know your triggers, your limits, your soft spots are the most likely to press them, not out of hatred, but because they no longer fear you. When fear fades from a relationship, respect follows. Test 1, the entitlement test. They stop thanking you, stop asking permission, stop considering your sacrifices. Why? Because in their minds, you're already theirs. They assume you'll always help, always show up, always say yes. When you don't, you're selfish, changed, cold. Machiavelli would say, let them talk. That's just the sound of someone mourning the loss of their upper hand. Test 2, the guilt reflex. You set a boundary, they get emotional. You say no, they dredge up the past. You protect your time, they call you distant. It's no longer a conversation, it's a tactic. They've learned that guilt can make you reverse any decision. If you waver, they note it. And they'll use it again. That's not love, it's emotional bargaining. If you can't hold your ground when guilt enters, you never had a boundary. Test 3, the loyalty loop. You've been loyal, supportive, consistent, but when you're the only one doing so, it becomes expected. They stop checking in, stop reciprocating, show up only when it suits them. When you pull back, they panic, not out of love, but because they've lost their emotional safety net. Machiavelli would tell you, if your loyalty is predictable, it'll be exploited before it's valued. Test 4. The just this once trap. it starts small. Can you cover this, cancel that, overlook this mistake, just this once? But once you give in, it's never just once. You become the one who bends because you've shown you won't break. They know you'll compromise your values as long as they stay close. That's not love, it's strategic pressure. Test 5. Why Machiavelli anticipated this. He'd say, the closer someone is to you, the more they expect you to absorb their chaos. If you don't, they'll call you cold, claim you've changed. Frame your growth as betrayal. Let them. A man who fears upsetting those he loves ends up surrounded by people who love how easily they can upset him. The solution: stop proving you're good. You don't need to justify your reserve, defend your detachment, or apologize for outgrowing the emotional systems others relied on. Enforce your boundaries, silently, consistently, without flinching. Let the accusations come, let the discomfort grow. Once they see the old you is gone, they'll either evolve or leave. Either way, your position strengthens. Being cold-blooded doesn't mean shutting off your heart, it's about protecting your power with precision, especially from those who assume you'll never wield it against them. Without guarding your emotional core, you become a dumping ground for others' chaos. Machiavelli didn't build walls to keep people out, he built filters to test who deserved to get in. And once inside, saying no, or stepping back from toxic patterns. The more you explain, the more leverage you hand over. Machiavelli would say explaining invites negotiation, acting without permission signals strength. When someone asks, why are you different? What's happened to us? Why haven't you reached out? Don't argue or list reasons, just say, I've recalibrated. That silence, that refusal to bare your soul, commands respect or exposes those incapable of giving it. Rule 2, set consequences, not conditions. Most people set conditions: don't speak to me like that again, if you do this, I'll be upset. Please don't disrespect me. Machiavelli never begged for better behavior. He created structures where disrespect carried a cost. Don't say, don't do that. Show that when they do, you withdraw. You don't return when they panic, you return when you choose, if at all. Boundaries don't plead, they act. That's their power. Rule 3, never negotiate through emotion. Once someone knows you crumble under pressure, panic when ignored, or rush to fix their silence, they stop respecting your mind and start playing your heart. Machiavelli wouldn't allow this. Emotional clarity is a shield. Once breached, the target shifts from your reason to your wounds. Protect yourself by being unreadable under pressure, no long texts. No, I just feel outbursts, no impulsive re-engagement after hurt. Your silence is your leverage, your calm is your stance. If they want your warmth, they must earn it anew. Rule 4. Define what you tolerate and never waver. Most people's boundaries shift based on who's asking, how long they've known them, or how emotionally drained they are. That's weakness, it's emotional currency inflation, and it erodes your worth. Set clear rules. I don't respond to shouting. Once I set space, it stays until I reopen it. I don't reward apologies without changed behavior. Then follow through, no exceptions. People don't test what's enforced, they test what's flexible. Machiavelli rarely punished, but when he did, it was precise, cold, final. So must you, or they'll keep gambling with your forgiveness. Rule 5, don't fear being seen as harsh. This is where most falter. They know they're being used. Their peace disturbed, but enforcing boundaries feels guilty. Society says, if you're not endlessly patient, you're cruel. If you don't explain, you're arrogant. If you don't let them back in, you're unforgiving. Machiavelli didn't fear labels, he feared being seen as easy. So should you. Let them call you what they will, let them rewrite your character to suit their pain. When you fear reputation over reality, you trade power for perception, and perception changes nothing. You're not cold, you're uncompromising. Love without boundaries becomes sacrifice. Sacrifice without recognition becomes servitude. Machiavelli wouldn't die on someone else's emotional battlefield. He'd observe, withdraw, return when respected. That's not cold, it's control. This is where most hesitate. They say, I don't want to go numb, to lose myself. I fear if I go cold, I won't come back. That fear is valid. But it stems from conflating cold-blooded strategy with emotional detachment. Machiavelli didn't lose his humanity, he mastered when and how to use it. In his world, and yours. You stop reacting emotionally when your position demands calculation. You still love, care, connect, reflect, but only within the walls you've built. Walls that keep you from becoming a pawn in someone else's emotional game. Being cold-blooded doesn't mean lacking warmth, it means choosing when to share it and with whom. That's not emotional absence, it's emotional intelligence. Control begins with reframing your inner emotional narrative. Shift how you process hurt. When someone disrespects you, don't react, calculate. When they lie, don't spiral, observe. When they withdraw, don't chase, analyze. This internal shift changes everything. Move from, why did they do this to me? To, what does this reveal about them? Machiavelli turned betrayal into a question, what can I gain from this to grow stronger? The cold-blooded mind sees pain as positioning, not personal loss. Master the art of slow reactions. What unnerves people most? Not anger, shouting, or vengeance, but the person who sees betrayal and says nothing. They wait, distance themselves. Revoke access, not with fury, but with indifference. React too fast, and you're not dangerous, you're predictable. Machiavelli acted not on impulse, but on advantage. He taught that power lies not in the strongest emotion, but in the sharpest timing. Build a strategic approach to pain. Every time you feel disrespected, disappointed, or replaced, you have two choices, take it personally or turn it into insight. The cold-blooded mind doesn't mourn what's lost, it catalogs who's capable of losing you and adjusts their access accordingly. It turns pain into clarity, distance into power, loss into growth. Emotional reactivity hands others control over your reality. Quiet absorption makes you the one no one dares cross twice. You don't need to lose your heart, you need to guard it with a system. Most love like they're at war, but unarmed. They say, I'll give them everything, love them through their worst. And they'll return when they see. But Machiavelli knew hope isn't strategy, and kindness without discipline is disguised self-destruction. Don't close your heart, build a gate. Behind it, one rule. Only those who prove consistency earn my vulnerability. Your warmth must be earned, not assumed, your care conditional, not because you're cruel, but because you're valuable. The final shift. Embrace being misunderstood. This stops most from claiming true power. They want strategy but also approval, respect but also niceness. Machiavelli would say, if you need others to validate your growth, you've surrendered the freedom to grow. You'll be called cold, detached, and lose those who loved the version of you that bled on demand. Let them go. Their discomfort isn't your burden, it's their loss of access to the old you. That old you is easy to hurt. Cold-blooded doesn't mean heartless, detached doesn't mean disconnected. Strong doesn't mean selfish. But that's what they'll say when you stop overgiving, over-explaining, over-loving. You're suddenly too much, too sharp, too different. Most fail here. They either stay soft and get used, or go hard and lose themselves. Machiavelli walked a middle path, strategic empathy. Here's how to stay powerful without becoming the monster they accuse you of. Step 1. Define your intent, not their perception. Ask yourself, am I setting boundaries to hurt or to protect? Am I distancing because I'm cold or because I'm drained? Am I silent because I'm passive-aggressive or because I've said enough? If it's self-protection, not retaliation, you're on the right path. Machiavelli cared not for looking noble, but for holding his ground. Those who do so without cruelty are rare. That's your role now. Step 2, offer mercy without losing your stance. There's no harm in giving another chance. Being kind without naivety, or helping someone you've stepped back from if they've grown. The danger lies in forgetting why you stepped back. When you give, don't erase the standard, the consequence. Or return without terms. Offer warmth, not surrender. That's the balance. Step 3, control your presence, not just your absence. Many think withdrawing equals power. But Machiavelli knew a controlled presence is more potent. Appear briefly, speak clearly, leave while your absence lingers. Be the reminder, not the enemy, not the emotional wreck. Not the drama, but the calm, the one always a step ahead, who shifts the room's atmosphere by leaving. That's authority without aggression. Step 4, uphold standards, not control. Let silence do the reckoning. If they meet your standard, re-engage. If not, they never belonged in your evolution. Step 5, make your kindness selective, not exhausted. Don't stop being kind, stop being careless with kindness. Give it gradually, after observation, with internal checkpoints and clear exit plans if things go awry. If they call it transactional. Balance isn't a line, it's a filter. You're not meant to become stone, but a mirror, reflecting others clearly, offering warmth only when earned, staying composed no matter who strikes first. Rituals, repetition. Here's how to make your boundaries permanent without ever announcing them again. Habit 1, move without emotional fanfare. Don't declare, I'm cutting you off. I'm taking space, or I'm focusing on myself. Just act. Slow your replies, stop over-explaining, don't re-engage after withdrawing. True boundaries don't need speeches, they're written in your consistency, not your proclamations. Machiavelli didn't need agreement for his silence, he ensured it was felt. Habit 2, stay courteous. Your stillness unnerves them more than any outburst could. Habit 4, never reopen what you've closed without requalification. You left for a reason, don't return without a new one. If you ended a friendship, relationship, or partnership, let them re-earn your trust. Too many return because of apologies, time passed, or hope for change. No. Time doesn't heal betrayal, standards do. If they haven't grown, you've lost nothing. Habit 5, treat your peace as a private strategy, not a public statement. Don't market your emotional maturity. You're not cold-blooded for admiration, but for respect from those who can't access you at will. Live quietly, protect deeply, let your self-control's results speak louder than any post or quote. That's the Machiavellian finish line, total power, no explanation.